Okay, so here are my blocks. Now I actually have probably 10 more than I need, which is actually a good thing. But I almost made a huge mistake. Whole lot of work for nothing, almost. I had this quilt ready to be 12 by 12 blocks. That's like 9 feet. Posts on the rails on my quilt frame. Sure enough, they're only 99 inches or something. So I almost made a huge quilt that I couldn't get on my quilt frame. So, okay, so I have all my fabrics: gold, pine, blue, green, burgundy, and brown. And now I'm going to start. And I'm going to start with blue and gold. Why? Because I have more of those than everything else. Now the trick to sewing these together is, for starters, we want them all pointing in the same direction. We want the whites, because again, you can make mistakes, folks. You really can with there. So if you notice here, I have all my whites pointing up in one direction. The first 5 blocks that I put together are going to be pointing in this direction, the whites. So we're going to put this like this, then we're going to fold it over, and we're going to sew it together. Okay. So here are the first 2 blocks. Now, what makes this pattern so easy to follow is the white. I have hardly any white in here except these squares here. And that's what's going to make the pattern. So when I have my first row done, I'm going to show you what it looks like. Okay, I have flipped my quilt over so that you can get a better idea of what I'm dealing with here. This is the first row of this queen size quilt. Now I've put it down the length of my double bed to show you how wide it actually is. And I was actually going to make it 2 squares wider. But what I want to show you is halfway down I reverse the pattern so that 1/2 is going this way and 1/2 is going this way. And I'm going to make 5 rows just like this and sew them on, except I'll vary the colors around. It's the white that's going to make the pattern. So when I have 5 rows and the first half of the quilt top is done, we'll be back. So what I've done now is I've just tacked that first strip up to my office doorway so that I don't make any mistakes and duplicate colors with the next row. Okay, so there's 4 rows, and now I've decided again, I've told you I'm going to do 10. Once I have the 5th row on, I'm just going to repeat the whole thing in reverse. I am kind of fussy about the order of my colors. I don't like gold against gold, burgundy against burgundy kind of thing. So what I've done is now it's hung up again with 4 rows, and row number 5 is laid out on my sewing table in the order that I'm going to be sewing it in. So we've got brown, green, orange. Thank you, honey. My fabric from New Brunswick came. Gold, blue, a different version of gold, burgundy, another blue, orange, and green. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take this whole row, flip it over, and now I'm going to turn it around. And now it is in the sewing order that I want. Organization is so important. Organization, ironing, and math, all huge deals with quilting. And I know sometimes I don't pin things together when I'm sewing them, but I gotta tell you, as your quilt top gets bigger, you want to pin each row on at stress points about every 5 to 6 inches, so that when you pull it through the sewing machine while you're sewing, this part doesn't stretch and go off center, because sometimes if you're just sewing it a strip on, you don't bother pinning it. What happens is your strip will stretch And when it comes to meeting here, you're going to find that your white is over here somewhere and it doesn't look as neat. So as you're putting your strips on, please pin them. I'll show you this when I've got half the quilt top done. Also, as you're sewing, make sure you take the pins out as you go over them. Trust me, you don't want to accidentally leave a pin in the quilt top. This isn't the best lighting because it's hanging in my hall, but I still have 4 rows to go. I have this pinned up so that I can see which row, the way I want to put the colors next. And as you can see, that's that square. See all the chevrons going that way? Now they're going to start going this way because that's the center. This is the Miss Volfie from our Half Acre Homestead saying, when I have the top finished, we'll be back to show you how I put it together and get it on the frame. See you then. Take care. God bless.